A very good morning to you guys. Welcome to Asake Online. This is the Breakfast Club. My name is Brighto Ndebele. Today we're covering the Urban Futures Project launch right here in Bulawayo, where young people across from Bulawayo as well as Mutare, they're launching this project to focus on Urban Futures Project, where they're looking at climate change, climate resilience programs, and how they can use food systems to educate young people, and also how to encourage young people to go back to their food systems and calculate different issues in terms of combating climate change. Giving the welcoming remarks at the event on behalf of the mayor was Councillor Mpumelelo Moyo. They spoke about the issue of water crisis affecting Bulawayo and largely touched on the 120-hour water shedding facing Bulawayo, and also the importance of planting trees in order to combat climate change. We have seen over the past years the issue of drought affecting the country Zimbabwe, though largely Bulawayo affected by the water crisis. Take a listen to what he had to say around that.
The city of Bulawayo, at its council meeting of the 3rd of May 2023, acceded to the request to partner with the Hivos for the implementation of a 5-year project in the city dubbed, and I quote, the Urban Futures Youth Action for the Inclusive Climate Resilient Cities Project. I close my quote. The city thereafter set in the motion the implementation of the project through the formation of the interdepartmental committee to coordinate the program activities to ensure the smooth running of the project. The adoption by council of the project was the first indication of the city's commitment towards ensuring that it comes to fruition and that it should be successful. It was also a reflection of council's safe resilience and sustainable food systems in Bulawayo. The city and its partners have for the past year been working on ensuring that the key aspects of the project preparation are done. These have included the holding of research to guide project implementation, stakeholder mapping in the city of Bulawayo, and key to the project was the sharing of the call for the appointment of an implementing partner to date. We have seen the holding of the theory of change workshops, stakeholder engagement meetings, and the conceptualization of the city strategy. I am glad to stand before you today at the stage where we are now at a project implementation. The partners have been identified and they have hit the ground running in the operationalization of the Urban's Future project. The city is excited that the implementing partners are a consortium of organizations that are from Bulawayo and have a great understanding of the needs of the city. We are pleased to have been selected as one of the 2 cities in Zimbabwe to implement this project. This is because cities play a crucial role in fostering resilient food systems. This is done by developing policies that reinforce and enable resilience in food systems. The city, through the urban agricultural policy and local food industry, that is the community base, creates jobs and plays an important role in making affordable and cultural appropriate food more accessible throughout the urban landscape. One of the activities that the project will focus on will be build resilience to climate and to climate impacts on the urban food security. As we are all aware, the city is facing one of the hardest droughts to date, and it is important that in the project and as a city we think of how we can ensure sustainability and resilience towards mitigating climate change. Cities need to think regionally and support production, processing, and distribution within and outside the city limits. It is our role to simplify and shorten food supply chains, stimulate the local and regional food economy, and direct influence the integration of resilience principles into the system. In the city of Bulawayo, the various policies that we have, such as the urban agricultural policy, informal traders policy, youth policy, gender and social inclusion policy, local and master plans will play a pivotal role in this project and beyond. We emphasize the need to ensure that our food security is improved and provides health, and it's a substitute for purchased food, especially in pure households. We are anticipating that over and above the policies mentioned here, we will see the crafting or review of policies that encourage resilience and sustainability. It is my hope that the project will enhance the already existing efforts in the city of Bulawayo and provide an opportunity for the youth to play an important role in ensuring access to a wider variety of nutritious indigenous foods. As you launch the Urban Future Project in Zimbabwe, we are excited to host, and I wish you a successful day. Forward we grow forward. I thank you. Siyabonga, tatenda twabonga.
The guest of honor at this event was Leonard Munamat, coming from the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture. He spoke largely about the issue of how the government supports this project, Urban Futures Project, and also how young people can tap into this project and also have a livelihood and also create employment. He also touched on the sustainability of this project and also how young people can also create other systems and also educate other people across the country in terms of packaging their food systems and also combating climate change.
As a ministry, our mission is in sync with the Urban Futures goal. As ministry, we promote and try to sustain a viable, appropriately mechanized agriculture sector in a changing climate. So yes, we are quite aware that the climate is changing, and this year has been good evidence to show that it is really changing, and the climate change is with us. So the Urban Futures goal also which tries to contribute to more inclusive, climate resilient urban food systems. I think it resonates well with the ministry's goals. So as ministry, probably you are aware that we have come up with the agriculture, food systems, and the rural transformation strategy, which aims to ensure sustainable development of agriculture and food systems. So this project is complementing government efforts in ensuring that the urban component participates in sustainable transient urban agriculture. My minister wants to call it transient urban agriculture because most of it is happening on areas that are probably planned for other activities. So he wants to call it transient urban agriculture. So as a ministry, we are open to work with the city councils in both Mutare and Bulawayo in ensuring that their city visions for this program come true. Now, what is the contribution in terms of smart farming, as has been highlighted by the mayor in his opening remarks? The practice of farming systems which are not sustainable have largely been a major contributor to climate change. So we are encouraging conservation agriculture practices that are environmentally friendly. Recently, as government, we have come up with Pfumvudza or Intwasa, which is a conservation agriculture practice where government tries to support farmers, young farmers included, in this urban agriculture. So the Urban Futures program will support youths to employ smart and innovative methods of farming, such as hydroponics, aquaculture, mushroom production, and promotion of greenhouse farming. I think these are key in terms of food production. So innovation is key in transforming our food systems. And this is an opportunity for youth to come up with new innovations in food production, preservation, and value addition. We would want to see young people take the lead in value addition and improved, more organized marketing systems to increase income for farmers. But very interesting is the involvement of youth in this project. As government, we have established youth desks. We've got a youth desk in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Rural Development. But I know that every other ministry have already or is in the process of establishing a youth desk which is responsible for working with the youths. And one of the targets is to develop agriculture. So as a ministry, we have a soft spot for the same age group of youths. So we established a vibrant youth desk, which we have replicated across all provinces. So you find the youth desk at head office, but you find youth desk in each province to work with the youth in developing sustainable agriculture. So the aim is to empower youths in utilizing opportunities that are availed in the sector, such as animal husbandry, apiary, aquaculture, etc. I would like you to work with the youth desks in various ministries so that you can share notes on urban futures goals, so that we help each other to achieve the intended goals. But as youths, definitely we want to make agriculture a business. Yes, it is important to have food systems that are sustainable. But achievement of our country's vision of becoming an upper middle income society by 2030 requires significant acceleration of production and productivity, and a focus on ensuring the creation of quality jobs. This project will support the creation of jobs along the food value chain. Agriculture gives an opportunity for youths to employ themselves and make money. So youths should be employers themselves when they get involved in sustainable agriculture activities. So as the program commences, I would like to encourage youths to be part of this noble idea. Not only being part of it, but participate actively and benefit from this project. I wish everyone success as you now concentrate on the implementation phase. And as I conclude, I would like to remind every one of you, as we implement this project, that we need to avoid the pollution of water resources in our cities. Not only Mutare and Bulawayo, but in any other cities that will be implementing this project. We want to avoid the pollution. We want to engage in farming activities that do not contribute to soil erosion, that do not contribute to pollution of water. So yes, we need to avoid the stream being cultivation. We need to protect our wetlands and avoid the cultivation in those wetlands. I think as the city councils, we have got areas that are designated for practicing these urban agriculture activities. So let us work together with the city council so that we are guided. Definitely, this will guarantee conservation of our important water and soil resources. But let us also not forget that we want to make our cities green through practicing horticulture activities like establishment of fruit trees. How would you like it if each household would have a fruit tree at their homestead as we improve not only nutrition, but also improve incomes as households. So we hope this is definitely going to be interesting to our youth, but also interesting to authorities. So I want to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by declaring the Urban Futures Project officially launched in Bulawayo. I thank you.
Some of the speakers who spoke at this event was Runyaro Chibota from Hivos, speaking about the background of this initiative, this project, how it's being run in Zimbabwe and also in Zambia. And also Mike Ndebele spoke about the Bulawayo Consortium comprising of different organizations, including Green Heart, as well as UVFT, Lupane, as well as other young people part of this consortium. And also Clarice Masia spoke about how this consortium from Mutare also comes together to work with the Bulawayo State Council and also Bulawayo NGOs, rather focusing on the Urban Futures Project. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Most of you are asking, what is the Urban Futures Project about? Who will it benefit? Some of you are itching to hear that. Where are we in the process? What are the next steps? And what is needed for this project to succeed? Climate change and food systems is something we cannot change. It's happening. It's a lived reality. We are in a crisis. But where there's a crisis, there's an opportunity for solutions. And we know that climate change, and some of you are already experts in this field, climate change has threatened the livelihoods and sources of income of people, which has also led to a migration into the city and also a high increase in unemployment amongst young people. We also know that climate change has affected the well-being of individuals. This could be through loss of life, we know with the cyclones, with the hurricanes, or source of health as well. The heat waves, the lack of water. I hope you're all consuming water. As you know, there's a heat wave coming through. So please, I want to see those bottles opened and you consuming the water that you need. And then there's also been a gravitation towards ultra-processed foods. Young people are now gravitating towards the fast foods, whether it's because of change in lifestyles or whether it's preferences in consumption patterns, which is leading to an increase in non-communicable diseases. We also know that there's been an increase in population, which therefore we have to focus on the ratio of food to population. Are we meeting that demand? We have the pressure to meet that demand, and it is possible in Zimbabwe and it's possible in Zambia. And then lastly, some populations are always more affected than others. I think we can all relate to these pictures. We have seen drought across the region. This isn't just a Zimbabwe challenge, this is a global challenge, which is why we've decided to embark on this global project. So what do we need? What is the solution? What can we do about it? How can we build a climate resilient city? I'm here to challenge all of you today. And we have an idea as Hivos, but we're also here to say, what are you already doing? Or what can you do, or what can we do together to build a climate resilient city? We want to establish an inclusive governance structure. Hivos believes in a consultative process where we have multiple stakeholders. So we're going to develop a governance structure in each city in consultation with the council to find out how can we ensure that we get advice from the local authorities, from the youth forums, and also in other CSOs who want to be a part. So that is still in design process. We're also going to develop an advocacy campaign to ensure that we identify the common things in all the regions. So we have a common voice. The more combined we are, the stronger our voice is. So we want to see what are the challenges in all the cities and then agree on the advocacy campaign messages that we want to promote. And then develop a communication strategy. Obviously, how are we going to disseminate information to ensure that it is inclusive, everybody can, the different modes of materials, that everyone can actually hear about this project, hear about what we're trying to do, and have skills empowered for the next generation. Lastly, we want to create a community of practice, which will have the local partners from all 10 cities, where they will gather online or physically to learn from each other and share best practices. And then our partners are going to identify additional partners or youth-led organizations that they can collaborate with. In summary, like I said, the city strategy document, most of you might be wondering, what is that? It's basically the map, the roadmap, where we're going to clarify where is the city now in terms of the food city region system. Where do we want to be years from now? How do we get there? What are the main areas of work and priorities, including the issues we need to tackle and the main potential actors we need to make this happen? And we're hoping to have this achieved by December so that we've had time to refine it and then we can always review it yearly. Our generally desired outcome, yes, we have our 3 main pathways of change, but we would love to see, this is just generally speaking, they're going to be city-specific results, and increased employment of youth and successful green enterprises through promotion of green jobs. I know when we think green jobs, most of you only think of farming. But green jobs, like I said, there could be marketing, there could be, there's now climate finance, there's a whole lot of opportunities, there's research. You don't only have to be a farmer to promote green jobs. We need to explore globally what those green jobs look like. We want to promote flourishing environment with where natural resources are protected and utilized responsibly. We want to increase access to financial flows. So we want to work with financial institutions, banks, to say, help us prepare our youth. How can they be better prepared to receive funds? Most of the time, they don't know how to prepare their documents to receive the finances. But also we've created a generation who want instant, quick, now. And when it takes a process and there's certain systems you need to have in place, business plans you have to have in place to make sure your business is thriving. Youth, we want youth to be engaging with policymakers and taking an interest in policy and decision-making processes to establish stronger connections with our local authorities. We would also like to promote city, regional, and global collaborations to promote learning across the regions and sharing of knowledge and skills. We want youth meaningful participation and then gender equality, just for summary's sake. I think that's my last slide. Lastly, what we need to succeed, we need ongoing support. The fact that you're here plays a pivotal role. We need continuous ongoing support. We are your children coming under your feet saying, please help us make this project a success. Guide us with your wisdom and expertise to make sure that this is a success. Co-financing, we are also calling for any other organizations that want to co-finance activities that will be shared by our local partners. And remember, this is a global project, so it's not only about what's happening in Bulawayo or Mutare. We want to collaborate with the other cities across the regions. We want the youth champions to step forward. So we're not looking for youth who are just looking for capital. We're looking for youth who are ready, passionate, forward, have stuff going on, who want to actually share their knowledge. Not only, can I have? We're not a beggar's mentality. I want a generation of youth who are here to come up with solutions, here to come forward with, this is what I can give, and this is what I can offer, and this is what I can contribute. And then sharing of skills and knowledge across the regions.
I will start just by localizing what Runya has been globalizing. Runya gave us the overview of the Urban Futures project. So what we did, I think she made reference to the fact that we had to write, or we had to compete for this project with other partners, and Bulawayo was selected. So we localized our project from the program, and we gave it a name, which is a Youth Urban Resilience Food System Program, with that abbreviation. And as I have said, the consortium lead is BVTA. I will not overemphasize that. We have Lupane State University co-present the other part of our presentation. And then we have Green Heart Initiative. Then we have African Food Revolution, and then we have Unemployed and Vulnerable Foundation Trust. So those are the partners in the consortium. Of course, you see Green Heart there, right at the far left. Let's provide community-driven, climate-responsive, and environmentally friendly solutions. And then African Food Revolution is domiciled in Zimbabwe and provides expertise and analysis of traditional food and production, and promotes the consumption of local indigenous foods. You will see as I proceed, but I think for your benefit, some of you have tested the indigenous juices that Green was talking about when we were doing introductions. Then, of course, we've got Unemployed and Vulnerable Foundation. So the localized project seeks to stimulate a climate-just food system in Bulawayo, driven by young people we have overemphasized this along the value chain between the ages of 15 to 30 years through innovatively fusing indigenous knowledge systems and modern food systems pivoted on green solutions or innovations and healthy food consumption. So this is the localized project, and you will understand as I try to unpack what we mean by that. So the idea is to try and retrace our footprints in our indigenous food systems, fusing these with our modernity, what we like today, the ultra-processed foods that we are so in love with. I think we are seeing fast food outlets sprouting across our cities. If you check Bulawayo today, I think each and every Zua garage, there's almost a food outlet that churns out ultra-processed foods. And we are saying we need to pause a bit and think about what these foods are doing to our livelihoods. That is why we say, let's think about integrating our indigenous foods and modern foods and see whether we are going to be facing what Runya was talking about, the advent of chronic diseases, food waste, damage to the environment, damage to the ozone layer, and also maybe dealing with the adverse climate change effect that we are facing, perhaps as a country and the region, maybe the world at large. So this project seeks to say, let's eat what is traditional. If not, then let's see how we can locate traditional foods in modern food systems. Put simple, we are saying, asideni pizza eyenziwe ngamathambo, eyenziwe ngendlu. Let's say the pizza eyenziwe ngerapoko. And it is possible. We've been engaging, for instance, Slice Pizzeria, and they were saying they are ready to try that. So we are saying, let's introduce some of these dishes in the modern food outlets and see if we are going to live the same lives. We are saying, as we walk around our cities, let's think about, someone was talking about planting of trees. I think Brighton was asking us here to say, when did we last plant a tree? And I believe that we need to rethink the idea of planting trees, just fruit trees, but think about planting our indigenous fruit trees. Imagine walking around the city, usika utangutangu uzidlela. Walking around the city, usika umkhemeswana uzidlela. Walking around the city, usika umnyi uzidlela. But now, as I have said this for some of you that have met me before, right now when you move around the city, you see jacaranda. It's jacaranda trees all over the city, and the other one with red flowers. And if I would ask you, what do you use those for? You would just say for shade. But imagine if you are planting indigenous trees, there will be food across the city, and this will contribute towards food security in the country. Just to give you a perspective of where we are coming from as a project. And we are saying, how do we fuse issues of climate change and climate resilience in this project? We are saying, let's think about a green solution. Let's think about young people exploring ideas around waste management and exploring of economic opportunities. And already we are in motion, we are doing this kind of, we're going to talk about theory, but if you check our footprints in the city, you will see that already we have young people who are already pushing for this. We have champions in our midst already doing something around this project. So, briefly about the state of Bulawayo, I think it will be a disservice if I don't talk about what we can offer beyond just the project. For those that are coming from Mutare, Bulawayo, just promote our tourism. Maybe after the launch, we'll finish around maybe 1. Matopo is less than 30 minutes. The park from here, you can go and see flora and fauna. You have Chavalala is just less than 3 kilometers from here. I think it's 2 km, if not 2.5. From here, there is a private game park here run by National Park. You can go and see lions there for those that are coming to visit our city. And then, of course, we have got the Cameroons. We have our landmarks in the city. We have the statue of the founding father of Zimbabwe, we have Stanley Square. You need to see those areas when you're coming here for the first time. Mrs. Botangambulala, if I don't sell our city like that and talk about the urban food systems on. And of course, we used to be the industrial hub for the country. And this now brings an opportunity for young people to say, how do we rethink productivity in our city? We have various industrial shells lying empty shells as we speak. What can we do in light of the urban food systems? What can we do around green enterprise? What can we do around green solutions to try and utilize these facilities that are lying in agri? If you check, we have the malls, we have Nkulumane Mall, Amontumbane Mall, that are underutilized. What can we do with young people to take those spaces and begin to produce around urban food systems, and also dealing with climate resilience interventions? And then we can go on. And of course, the city of Bulawayo has the largest youth population under 25 years based on the current statistics. So this is a huge opportunity for the urban food systems project that we are trying to advance, and of course doing interventions around the climate resilience initiatives. Let's move on. Yeah, so I think this has been said already that Bulawayo has got a challenge with water. I said in other meeting, just to come here. I wonder if at all. But anyway, this is what we are faced with as a city, and the question is, what are the alternatives that we can put on the floor? What we can prepare, particularly young people and around dealing with issues of the water crisis in the city. I was in Zambia, to be specific. I saw young people harvesting water from wind. I know it sounds very strange. I think Runya will testify that youths in Zambia were harvesting water from the wind. And we are saying also, what can we do in our city that is so novel in terms of trying to introduce alternatives to access to water? Of course, we have extreme temperatures. I think this, like Runya was saying again, that we need to take water because it's so hot. We have lots of biodiversity. If you move around the new or the emerging townships and other suburban areas, people clear the land, cut down trees. People do not leave carbon sinks, and when it's hot, or then the heat goes up and it damages the ozone layer, and we then feel the impact of climate change. We have limited capacity on adaptation. We lack knowledge, and this project, in our view, is going to bring about knowledge in terms of trying to come up with perhaps mitigation and adaptation capacities for us to be able to deal with the impact of climate change. And we've got limited waste management capacity. And this project, as I've said, we are also advancing issues of reducing waste and also food waste, and trying to bring in innovations around young people leading green enterprise on waste management. And of course, I spoke about the prevalence of the ultra-processed food value chain that we need also to be dealing with in our city. So if you look at Bulawayo with the lens of the urban food systems, we see these issues. So what is then there for us, for our city, in terms of trying to improve the urban food systems? There's land. We have quite huge tracts of land that is underutilized. If you check some of our privately owned properties, and I spoke about the industries. Last week, I think Mr. Stoller from Bulawayo City Council made reference to Dunlop. That Dunlop has got already engaged our city to say, maybe let's rethink agriculture in urban areas, and maybe model our policy into an urban food systems policy. And we've already made a proposal to our city. We're hoping that maybe there will be a co-creation in that regard. What else is there? We can introduce water harvesting techniques and water-saving farming methods. We are trying to explore these ideas. Our partner, like Green Heart Initiative, they're already having prototypes that we can learn from. For those that we have time, maybe if you visit our city again, we can take you to the farm to see some of these interventions that are trying to promote. Green jobs, I've spoken about green jobs, and I spoke about the waste management, I spoke about the green solutions, I can talk about fusing ICTs also AI around the urban food systems. In one of our interventions, in one of our discussions, we're talking about having, Candy Crush. I think some of you play Candy Crush when you're bored. We can have our own mini crush where you play maybe that application is named through our own indigenous tree of some sort. So we create solutions that are indigenous. We create solutions that can locate where you can find traditional food of flour. An Uber kind of model where you want to see what you go to your phone and then you can see the map that I can go to this particular restaurant. So yeah, people can come up with those solutions. One is actually providing a link to the market, but also they can earn a living from that prototype or that solution. I've spoken about the issue of innovation, and of course, like Runya was saying, we need to co-create these solutions as stakeholders. We need to all of us to work together as we implement this project. So, Runya said we'll briefly talk about our city vision, and she walked us through what we have done so far in terms of the steps that led us to the city vision. So our city vision that came from the day of change, she made reference to the 3 days that we spent to come up with that sentence. Yes, indeed, it's true. So our vision is it's a smart, inclusive, and safe city. The smart can be unpacked by all of us, how we understand it. If I had to ask, what do you understand by smart? What does it mean? I can see more blessing is not easy. More blessing, what to be understanding of smart?
Smart, I think the infusion of technology.
Yes, technology, yes. Any other view? A smart city, madam?
Thank you. I think in addition to technology and digital solutions, you also talk of smart communities where solutions and programming is coming from the bottom up. So the issue of co-creation, the issue of sustainability in terms of idea generation, in terms of innovation and governance.
Yes. And of course, smart being clean, right? Smart being clean, yes, we don't dirty everywhere in our city, and have proper waste management mechanisms, reuse, reduce, recycle, right? I know this we are not used to this kind of culture of keeping our city clean. I know I've seen some of you throwing waste through moving vehicles here. Some of you just after eating sweets. If you check right now, there are small pieces of sweets that are on the floor. People already thrown them down. Just check right now, and you wonder who will pick this. And this is a culture. If you go to any meeting, even in a community hall, after eating sweets or K-lines, we drop them and we leave. I was in a meeting, to digress, I was in a meeting in Pumula, and it was a youth meeting. And after then, we bought K-lines for chicken in. I'm sorry, but when you buy them, then it's not what I'm promoting. After the meeting, I could see a red line from the gate to the road. People just throwing K-lines along the way. And we are trying to challenge that culture also as a project to keep our cities clean. And of course, a safe city. What is a safe city? What are we talking about? We're talking about a safe city. A safe city. Tando.
A safe city is considerate to everyone who's living in it, be they female, male, but a safe city is a space where someone feels free to walk around.
Yes, we're talking about one suffered in terms of your security, suffered in terms of safe working spaces, young people working in decent working spaces, safe for that matter, access to social security, and of course lighting and other things around ensuring that people are safe where they are working from. And then with sustainable youth-led indigenous evolving modern food systems. I spoke about the idea of indigenous food systems and modernity, but sustainable, what are we talking about? Sustainable youth-led indigenous evolving food systems.
So I'll talk about the highlights of the rapid scan and maybe the theory of change and what came out from the stakeholder meeting last week. Yeah, move on. So we looked at the food system in the city of Bulawayo, where we looked at the production, the food security, the consumption, the markets, the distribution, the processing, the manufacturing, and the social inclusion. And looking at how can we fit this project, which we co-named Youth Urban Resilient Food System. Next. So the vision, I think it has been already explained. Next. So this is the theory of change. From the global theory of change, this is what we picked for the city of Bulawayo. For example, we want to include our youth in the review of policies in the city of Bulawayo. And also we want to connect indigenous and modern food systems through culture, health, and community-based knowledge to inspire behavioral change in the city of Bulawayo, as earlier alluded to. We also want to have youth-led food entrepreneurship that flourish also in the city. And also we want young people to identify and access and create opportunities in the food systems. Also want to create stronger entrepreneurial systems that provide networking. Next slide. So if you look at the rapid scan, we noticed that the city of Bulawayo, the urban agriculture policy we was no longer contextual, considering what was happening at the moment. So this is one of the things which we are going to tackle with this project. And also, there's also limited legislation to control ultra-processed foods in the city of Bulawayo. And then in terms of youth, we noticed that youth are active as consumers, but they are not active in the production of food. So we want to also correct that also as a project. And also there's limited space for youth to participate in production. So these are some of the highlights of the rapid scan which was done in the city by our consultants. And also when you look at the food markets will consume ultra-processed foods. And also if you look at the waste part of it, you'll find that there are a lot of waste, post-harvest losses, and also a lot of food waste, which is also in the city, which we also would like to also address as a project. And this is a low-hanging fruit, and it can create, it's a game changer from our perspective. And also, the city of Bulawayo has got water challenges, and sometimes people water the food crops with untreated water or waste water, and which is not good also for our health. And also we have got a lot of food insecurities and nutritional deficiencies. And youth also in the city of Bulawayo have got challenges in terms of accessing capital. Next slide. So from the stakeholder mapping of the strategies which we would want to push as a project, and what they also identified was first, wanted to, then they proposed that we should lobby and advocate for green policies and bylaws in the city of Bulawayo which supports youth entrepreneurship. And also we should also as a project support youth participation in smart food production, which is green. I think it was explained earlier. For example, hydroponics, greenhouses, drip irrigation, things which are smart, which conserve water. Also, we should also provide a look and learn visit so that we ignite that a desire to participate in the food systems. It was observed that youth at the moment, there's that youth apathy in terms of development. Their participation in different projects, they are not interested that much because of maybe they haven't been exposed to see what other youth in other areas are doing with the within the food systems. And we also were challenged that we also have to develop tailor-made youth financial systems. For example, where youth can access loans and also are provided with grants where they can pitch their ideas and get funding. And also, most youth businesses were found to be informal or not registered. So in this project, also we should champion formalization of these youth-led projects, especially if they are green, to promote the food, the resilience of the food system in the city of Bulawayo. And also the project was also challenged to also come up with new foods, like as earlier alluded to, where we have to research and then develop pizza, poco pizza, and some crazy ideas which we also would like and would also be attractive to them. We also asked to also invest in youth entrepreneurship, especially in food processing, packaging, and presentation of food. For example, most of the indigenous food which we want to promote are not attractive in terms of packaging. So youth, those are some of the enterprises which youth can come in and also participate, even if they are not in production, but in the value chain, they can find opportunities to do that. Next. Also, we asked also to do awareness campaigns, especially on the benefits of food. So some youth are not interested because they are not aware of the beneficial characteristics of eating these nutritious indigenous foods. And also, in the stakeholder engagement, strategy development engagement, as part of this project, also they propose that we know before quotas in strategic platforms or committees in the city, so that maybe, let's say, for example, each committee in the city of Bulawayo has got maybe 30% of young people participating in the decision process and also the discussions about the food system in the city, so that they then become part of the process and they are ahead in the city of Bulawayo. And also, youth themselves also, they said there are a lot of collectives which are happening, but they are not documented. These youth work in isolation and they're not seen. So as part of the project, we need to bring together these youth so that we create a database where if there's a need for them to aid their views, also we know where we can find them. And also in the city of Bulawayo, through this project and through the participation of youth, also the stakeholders propose that we promote the circular economy, especially to reduce food waste and post-harvest losses. Next slide. Thank you very much.
I'm from Green Governance Zimbabwe Trust. We're an organization that is based in Mutare, and we work at the intersection of climate change, environmental management, natural resource governance. And we're involved in community advocacy and engagement, policy advisory, litigation, and quality research designed to promote governance in the management of natural resources, biodiversity, and other outliers. So in our consortium, we also have Manika Youth Assembly, which is an organization that is rooted in the transformative power of young people, and it's based in Mutare. It has a vast network of young people in Mutare, like all the suburbs of Mutare. And we have National Association of Youth Organization. It is an organization, a national platform for youth and youth CSOs working in Zimbabwe. The work of NAYO spreads across national, regional, and international levels. Yeah. So this is our vision as the city of Mutare. So our vision is a sustainable, green, smart city where youth and women are empowered to participate meaningfully to create a collaborative and inclusive climate resilient food system. So like she mentioned, that it took 2.5 days, practically 2.5 days of various stakeholders in the room from the academia and whatever to come out with this vision for the city of Mutare. So we are hinged on youth and women, and we're looking like green, smart city, and we're also for climate resilient food systems and collaboration and meaningful participation. So these are our 3 city priorities. Number 1 is policy review, analysis, and engagement, or that's a night view of the city from somewhere. Yes, that's Mutare. advocacy and awareness building on healthy consumption patterns, strengthening youth participation in the food value chain. So I'm going to start with policy review, analysis, and engagement. So one of the things that was discovered from the Theory of Change workshop and from the continuous working group meetings that we were having is that there's awareness and actionable understanding of the bylaws, of the existing bylaws that are already there, that govern food regulations, that govern food systems in the city and at global level is low among urban youths. And we also have young people who are in the informal sector as informal traders who are not registered and may not be registered. And their lack of awareness of the laws put them at a disadvantage in doing their business or their food entrepreneurial businesses. So there's also a perception that exists that local legal and regulatory instruments are anti-urban poor. This is partly because most regulations were developed when urban residence was for a few and urban landscapes were racially defined. So some people think because of this, like this poor understanding, it's as if maybe that those laws do not speak to the urban poor, which usually like the young populations. And then there is also something to do with policy fragmentation in that, I'm not dissing, but in a way it's like the existing policy frameworks may be fragmented at both local and national level in a way that there is the health sector, the agriculture sector and stuff, and there's a lack of understanding even among people of how those laws collaborate and intersect to form a sustainable food system, though they speak to the food systems of the nation and also at local level. So that's that next. So our implementation, so I'm talking about the priority area and then I'll just go into the implementation strategy. So our city is in the process of reviewing its bylaws, and in this way we are able to play a role in influencing youth participation and the development of appropriate gender responsive and socially inclusive bylaws that support urban resilience and contribute to sustainable food systems within the city. So we understand as a city we have an urban agriculture policy, and for us, it's already existing. It's now all about ensuring that everyone has an understanding of it, young people, women, everyone. And there's that discourse between informal and formal trade. What are the laws governing informal and formal trade? And then also to do with food waste management. So this will be done through youth bylaw cafe reviews, interface dialogues, and the initiative will also build the capacity of duty bearers, because from the various conversations that we've had as we shape the implementation strategy, is that sometimes we may have a lashback against our duty bearers, but some of them, even the councillors, they may not, they're newly elected, and they may not have an understanding of their role in developing bylaws and the intersection of food systems, and raising an awareness on why there is need to concentrate in the policies. You can't say we want to support policy review and whatever when people are not understanding of the food systems and why it's important to talk about those policies. And then we also proposing that we conduct a gap analysis on policies and laws on food systems at agriculture, food waste management, distribution and processes. And this will help us develop knowledge products on the existing gaps. And we have a report on food systems policies in Zimbabwe, that's a final product, and develop policy bricks. And for the aspect of comic books, we are saying we are trying to reach to young people, and in a way we are simplifying what the food systems law are, trying to simplify that. And this will be critical for policy dialogues and will be important points of reference for supporting active policy coordination across multiple sectors and public actors, e.g. ministries of agriculture. So we were going to develop platforms for dialogue, continuous, over the 5-year period, to continuously assess the progress and also the gaps that have been covered. And facilitating local knowledge building and knowledge sharing, that is setting up local systems for knowledge generation and dissemination, build clear and sustainable pathways to bring knowledge to the field by linking core actors with knowledge providers. That is, e.g. we have extension services, research institutions, so that they can work together. And then bolstering public-private collaboration in sustainable food systems. So the second one is advocacy and awareness building on healthy and sustainable consumption patterns. So food and nutrition security in Mutare is said to be a very complex system and is marked by the consumption patterns of unhealthy food. Like we're mentioning, a lot of young people are into unhealthy food. And one thing I usually say when people there were people who were saying, like chicken in some people can't don't have enough money to buy some of those fast foods. But we have my chips nema Russians, like it's going all over. And we love that. As young people are like, it's a fast meal, it's an accessible. So that as well, it's unhealthy consumption. And that's why we say there's a general widespread of provision of food infrastructures, but there's little consideration for nutrition and health. And we have healthy traditional foods are not well packaged and marketed, like they are not attractive. And young people have food choices in what they eat, mainly due to, we had said affordability, but there's also something that came up in terms of the environment that they are growing up in. It influences how their consumption patterns and the background, where you are coming from as well as the background, it also affects how you consume your food. In terms of the environmental impacts, like Manikaland, talking of Manikaland, it spans like the 5 regions. When people talk of Manikaland, they're all Manikaland. They say, oh, there's a lot of water. That's the conversation I've been having people even when we're outside. They were saying in Manikaland, there's a good weather and stuff. But Manikaland province spans all the 5 regions. We have Chipinge, which is dry. We have Marange, which is dry as well. We have Chimanimani. It has good weather and it has been affected by tropical cyclones. So, considering that, with all those 5 regions and also those districts being dominated by agriculture and agriculture practices, Mutare becomes an important reference market for aggregation and distribution for Manikaland province agriculture produce. So there is a vast markets like Misika, we call them Misika, in Mutare. So there are a lot of markets, like a lot of people who sell agriculture products in their raw form. So in these steps, a lot of food is lost, like in that way. There's a lot of food waste that is generated. And there's a lot of issue to do with food waste resulting from that. So that is between the transportation of the food and even the selling and stuff. Like we can say when it's cabbage season, it's tomato season, they are there in abundance. So there's bound to be a lot of food that is waste. So our implementation strategy on that, we're saying we want to have awareness campaigns on the intersection of climate change and food systems. And we like to try and help people understand why we are saying that there's an intersection between climate change and food systems, because the food sector alone contributes to like a third of greenhouse emissions. And that has a huge impact, has a significant impact. And so we want to raise awareness around that. We want to have 6 educational sessions on sustainable living, like teaching people how they can minimize environmental degradation, how they can reduce household waste, and teach them alternative ways of food preservation, considering that we're in this area of no electricity and that. We are also talking about Wellness Day, where people talk about health, the intersection of health, healthy living. And we also talked about something about having behavioral change agents. Like we should have behavioral change agents. Like it can't necessarily be us talking about that, but we also have to have young people who can be behavioral change agents, because we believe in peer-to-peer education, and then healthy diets awareness campaigns. So then the third priority area is strengthening youth participation in the food value chain. So food systems have the potential to provide livelihood opportunities for youth, but challenges remain for them to join the sector. And there are many circumstances that impede young people in joining the food sector. And even when youth can be entrepreneurs, agro-entrepreneurship or food entrepreneurship may not be appealing to young people, because young people these days, we are more concerned about fast money. So, and also young agro-entrepreneurs who are already in the space, they need more support. They need to be encouraged in terms of linkages with investment opportunity, technical assistance for them to grow and scale. So, And there's been a growing interest in innovation-driven business models that have the potential to provide effective and sustainable solutions to environment and food systems. At the same time, these businesses have the potential to generate a positive social impact as the model supports local communities through employment. So we're also talking about innovation, technology at the center of this. So our implementation strategy, food funding is just a proposal. We are throwing it out there. Funding food entrepreneurship by young people. So we intend to facilitate the implementation of a core that will sub-grant exceptional youth entrepreneurship interventions. And this intervention could have a significant economic and social impact in assisting and creating an environment that promotes entrepreneurship, innovation, and job creation. It will be open to entrepreneurs, start-uppers, creative or individuals, or a team wishing to start a business and have an idea or project that can meet the challenges of sustainable urban development in the cities. So it's open to any young person, whether they are a woman, a male, female, youths, whatever, with disabilities, so that they can engage in the creation and implementation of business. So the themes around this could be waste management, development of technological apps that improve Mutare's current market system, urban food system, like food distribution, like something that improves the food distribution and processing, water source and water resource and management resources, like anything that's creative that conserves water resource or manages water resources, like clean energy innovations are also key. Like we've heard of young people who are making biobriquettes with food waste. Those are some of the innovations that we are looking at, like that we want to support. And it will be that. So we're looking at participants that will be shortlisted. We have an opportunity to participate in mentorship programs. The selected innovative business project ideas will have access to capacity building and acceleration services. That is training, mentoring, and networking. This will be through. We're thought of an entrepreneurship masterclass, and we're thinking of networking with Africa University. We have I5 Hub. Terry over there, he's from the I5 Hub from Africa University. We have financial literacy stations through Junior Chamber International. We understand the role that have been playing, like they already have existing platforms and want to leverage on that. So we want to link with existing youth entrepreneurship programs in partnership with 5 to 8 innovation hubs. We know there are already a variety of youth innovation hub programs that are out there, and we want to connect those young people with those. And for them to have a policy understanding also, that's part of the area. Apart from the SAG grants, we also aim to create linkages between young entrepreneurs and financial institutions. We are like, it's not only financial support, but you want to give this opportunity for young people to connect with various financial institutions. Something that was raised from our meetings that we were having was that a lot of those financial institutions, they do their pitches and whatever, their meetings in fancy hotels like this one. We want to bring that to the community. We have communities, Sakuva, whatever. We want young people to have access to such information in their small communities. Even without the grant, if you have an idea, we can connect you and also teach you about ways in which you can get access to those funds. So that's where I end. This is the end, and thank you.